right, what's up guys, and welcome back to Mid-Pack Mania. Today, me and Sammy going to be digging into the 707 engine and hopefully figure out what went wrong with that and get it fixed. But I think honestly, instead of fixing it, we still want to see what's wrong, but we're going to pull the engine off of the Grim Ripper cart that we just built not too long ago. The engine's fresh and the Grim Ripper is going to be dead. Short 2 months that it lived and it was fun while it lasted, but now we're back to racing and we need the parts because we don't have money to buy more. So we're gonna dig into this one, see if we can find what went wrong and go from there. So I noticed at the last race when I tried to turn it off, this wire had came undone. I don't know if that really has anything to do with it, but it certainly didn't help. We're gonna pull the spark plug, check that out. Let's see the end of that. Oh yeah. It's pretty black. Go ahead and pull it off with the wrench there. Plug it back into that. And then hold it to the valve cover. Just hold it right there. See if there's any spark to it. Like touch this to the valve. There you go. I don't see any spark coming out of that. Pull that. There's nothing. One more time. There's spark, but I don't know if you guys can see it. Go ahead and try it again. There's like the slightest spark to that. So it has spark to it, but it's really inconsistent. It isn't sparking every time, and when it does spark, it's very faint. You can barely see it. If you have a brand new spark plug, you can see those sparks every time, night or day. So I feel like that would be the issue. Even if it's not, like I said, we're gonna be taking the fresh motor. Also, that motor is a non-hemi. This one was a hemi. If you guys remember in the last video, Sammy had a weight issue. He was 30 pounds under. So he was right at the limit for a non-hemi, but we had to add weight to run the hemi. And you guys always hear me talk about hemis and non-hemis. I actually have two of them open right now. If you guys wanna see, we'll go take a look and I'll show you the difference in those and how you can tell. So here, side by side, is a Hemi and a non-Hemi. The first thing you look for, the valve cover. This is a non-Hemi valve cover. This is a Hemi valve cover. It's squared off. But as far as the internals, the Hemi's got a flat top piston. There's no dishing in that. This is a non-Hemi and it's dished. See how it dips down a little bit there in the middle? This is an old engine that I had picked up and it was kind of pitted and just messed up, but we're not going to use it. But it did come with a billet flywheel. Those are not cheap. So the next thing also, in the non-Hemi head, see how that's not really consistent? It's flat here, but then it dips in here and it's like a weird angle before the spark plug comes out. This is the Hemi head. The Hemi is perfectly circle and dips down evenly all around. So this, paired with the flat top piston, creates a much higher compression, therefore you get more power out of a Hemi, and that explains why you have to add more weight to run a Hemi, because it's not fair if the weight limit's the same and you can just run an engine that costs the same but it automatically has more power right out of the box. So that's the difference. Out with the old, got everything unhooked. Got to get the header off because we're not going to run this J-pipe. We're going to run this muffler. Yeah, switch everything over. This one's pretty much ready to go now. It's just got to get all the connectors back on it. Got it all mounted up, just gonna add some oil to it so we can get the first fire off. Sammy's under there fastening the motor back down, tighten it up. The only thing we can't do is I need new throttle cable, which I have one ordered. It's coming in before we can get that hooked up, and everything else should be ready to go. So unfortunately something came up and Sammy's not gonna make it to the race on Saturday. So you guys are gonna have to wait to hear that engine fired up and see how it performs to the July 25th race. Give you guys a little teaser. You saw us kind of putting it together and mounting it up, but you can't hear it run until the next video. As far as my kart, the Clone, the 91, we got the home built engine on. We switched away from the loop pipe back to a normal 3-stage. The only downside is I realized that I didn't have one of like the pro blueprinted bored out carbs to put on it, so we're gonna have to run just one of the basic ones for this race. And even if it does well, it's nice because you know it'll do even better with better intake at the next race once I can get one in. So I'm really excited to run that and see how it does. I ran it at one practice day on the 707 kart and it felt really strong, but it's also hard to get a read on an engine if you're not running against other people. You're really spaced out. If I didn't show you guys in the last video, the tread here really kind of took a beating because the track was really hooked up, and I don't know if you can see it, but starting to peel up a little bit, but there's still a good amount of tread left. The left isn't as bad, but the right one did get a little bit as well. So we still have another race or two on those. As long as the tread doesn't start wearing down too bad, we can keep using them. We're kind of a budget race program, so can't really afford new tires every time, so hoping I can get the most I can out of those. But aside from that, the car's pretty much ready to go. We're gonna get it back on the trailer, load it up, and ready to hit the track tomorrow. So we made it out to Hanford. There's actually a bigger cart count today. I think there's 9 or 10 out there, which is gonna be nice because I always prefer a higher cart count. Obviously, nobody wants to race against 2 other people. I'd rather race against 20 or 30 other people. So anyways, we got all checked in. We're gonna go up and see how the lineups go and see where we start in the heat. Remember, in the first heat, you start someplace. In the second heat, you invert and you start in the opposite position. So getting ready to load in, hit the track. Back of the first heat, pole of the second heat. Got 10 carts. Also, really quick, I forgot to mention, since it's so hot, we're trying to get through everything fast, so there's no hot laps today. So we're going straight into the first heat, straight into racing, so we'll hope we're dialed in, but the track looks really dry right now, so see how it rolls. So we finished up heats. It was really dusty, it was really loose, but we ended up with third. And that's the first race on a home built engine, so that feels great. The engine was at 460 degrees coming off, and if it would have went any longer, it probably would have blown a head gasket, so we had to switch up the jetting a little bit on that. But hopefully we have it dialed in now going forward. But the first run of the day, taking a third place, obviously feels good. So we're gonna invert, start on the pole the next run, and see how we do from there. All right, so we just finished up the heats, took third place in both of them. That last heat has started a little bit wild, and I was worried about spinning the guy in front of me, but I was also like, I mean, I'm gonna hold my line and we're gonna see if we can work through it. And we ended up I ended up third. My buddy Carr ended up second in front of me, and then this other guy Leroy got first. But to show you how, I mean, we were 1, 2, 3. You could throw a blanket over it, and to show you how close it was, the fast times for the first place for Leroy was an 11.44, Carr was an 11.46, and I was an 11.47. Really close, and that puts me, since I finished third in both ways, starting third row outside, right behind my buddy Wesley. So he's second row inside. And yeah, I mean, there's 10 cars, so we'll hope for a good run and a good finish, and hopefully everything holds up going forward. But it's a pretty exciting night for being the first night on a home-built engine, and yeah, I'm really happy with it so far. I'll take third place any night right now, because then we just keep climbing. My goal for this season was to get 1 podium finish, 1 third place in the main event. So maybe tonight, may not, but I know that we are turning way faster lap times than we were last race. So that's something. So we're gonna go back, get the cart up to the staging, and get out there for the main. See what we can do. Hopefully I don't get tired. So kind of an unfortunate end to race number 2. Kind of felt like things were going a little bit too good all day long, and something's got to give. I just didn't think that something was going to be a pull start off of a brand new engine, but sometimes that's the way it goes, I guess. The body took a little bit of a beating in this race. A little bit of bumping and going around. And in the second heat, right on the last lap, if you guys saw, that I ran over something that was right in front of me that was really big. Well, it turned out to be a piece of lead, a weight from the cart in front of me. And if you can see here, it took exactly 2 races to get a hole in the brand new body. But I mean, it is what it is. Not everything's going to go perfect all the time, and I'm just happy that we had 2 really good heat races out there. Finished 3rd out of 6 in both of them, and in the second one especially, the first place, second place, and me all ran in 11.4. And in the other heat group, because there was 2 groups of us out there, the fastest guy was in 11.3. So we were dialed in, running right there, top times with everybody else, and that's why I was really excited for the main event. And then something happens, but at least there's a silver lining in knowing that the first race with the home-built engine went out, had a good, strong showing. Even without having hot laps, it was dialed in and it was keeping up with everybody else out there. So that obviously feels good. Gets me more excited to go back out there, especially once we get the correct carb on it. because right now it's just a stock carb, kind of like how I told you guys earlier in the video. But aside from that, I mean, if it would have been bad heat races, it would have been a worse night. But obviously nobody wants to go out like that. Nobody wants to go out like that. But at least you have some good to look back on. I want to give a shout out really quick to I've Got Bragging Rights, as usual, coming through with the cool gifts. Coming through with a 2 of 2 limited edition Mid-Pack Mania coffee mugs. Those are really cool. I want to give a shout out to Buddy Shelton for helping out with the jetting issue, my dad for kind of being my spotter out there and telling me what the fastest lines were, and everybody else that kind of helped us have a good showing out there and start finally running some good competitive times. It was 107 yesterday, so competing with the heat was really exhausting. Now today is 108, so I'm gonna get this cart all cleaned back up, get it back over there in the shop and get it put back together and put a new pull start on it. I just want to also give a quick, we're over 120 subscribers now. If you guys can get me 20 likes on this video, it'll really help me out a lot. Drop a comment, tell me what you thought about the video. Drop a like while you're here and subscribe if you haven't already. Really helps the channel grow and get more out there, and I really appreciate everybody else that has been supporting us through every video so far. So until next time, the next race is July 25th. We'll be back out there and hopefully we can run a full main event then. But even with not running the main this time, we're still making progress, and regardless, that feels good. So shout out to my buddy Car Hamblin. He got his first win out there in Hanford. He's a good guy, he deserves it. And yeah, until next time, thanks for checking out Mid-Pack Mania.